I'm gonna pass it around real quick so you guys can see. Look real closely for the marks. I'm gonna grab my pencil so I can mark out what needs to be removed.
No, I love this so much more than being like,
Oh my god, I would rather be cold than hot every single fucking time. And I know I'm never gonna stop saying that until something in my life changes and I'd rather be hot than cold. I don't know what that would be.
especially like when I was younger and I was like, I really felt so hot and faint. I just thought, I was like, I hate it.
So years ago, the doctor said to me, would you rather die by cold or die by heat? If I was a hot thing. So I said, die by cold.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's a thyroid test.
Really? Huh.
And you're, some people prefer the cold, some people prefer the hot, and it's usually regulated by
Your thyroid, yeah.
For years I thought maybe the right answer was I don't want to die at all. And I thought, well, no.
That's not really an option. That's
No,
really.
I guess that wasn't.
Yeah. Oh my god, I got a video from my sister of my youngest nephew singing to the dog. Well, first he was reading in a book, and then it wasn't really a song at this point, it was more of a spoken slam poem, I don't know. But he was like, when you grow up, you're going to be the tiniest little baby, talking to this dog. And then what she didn't record was, and you can never ever die because you're a dog. And it was like, oh my god.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? No. Yeah.
So the next dog is an Ibo.
Is a what?
Ibo, robot dog.
Oh, I gotcha. Ibo? Not Ibo?
I-B-O.
Oh, that is an Ibo. I was just thinking like I-B-O-W. At which point I would imagine it was a bow. You know, a bow wow.
Bow.
So not that. There's the shit I'm removing. Down the front.
Wait, are you marking with the X's what you are not removing?
No, I'm marking with the X's what I am
removing. Okay.
I always do it that way. For me, if I make it darker in some way, it recedes, and that makes me read it like it's gone. So that's the reason I do that. I don't mark the things that I want. I mark the things that I'm going to get rid of.
Okay. I think I'm confused. You're marking your pins though?
Right.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. I'm being
glad
a
that you said
total
it's on
dumbass.
But you're marking, you do want to mark what you want to get rid of.
You do want to mark what you want to get rid of. I am marking the wrong thing. Wow. Thank you.
I kept looking at
I know. I was like, oh wait.
You're like, no, what's happening? Thank you.
I was about to say something when Cameron did.
me came with that. Like,
Dude, I totally would have fucked it up.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely 100% would have fucked it up. Good job, kids. Stopping your Uncle Sarah from doing something stupid. Stupid Uncle
It's like
Sarah.
that's when I was saying, because I was like puzzling my head. How is this?
Well, literally, I was trying to think about the other board. I was like,
No, you guys are totally right. I fucked that up. But now I'm gonna have to really mark it so that I like don't mess it up as a result. Because I have all these marks on here now that are more difficult to read. Oh, Sarah, Martin, what are you doing? Come on, kid. Okay, that's better. Look, my tails are there now. Or sorry, my pins. What a dumbass.
So the X's are your pins. Big and assets.
Dangerous game on
Right?
So there's loads of different ways now to hog out that material. I don't want to say that there's a right way. There's certainly many wrong ways to do it, but there are just like mostly just different ways to do it. You can, if you're careful, take a drill bit and use the majority drill bit to hog out just a bunch of crap. You can actually go over to the table saw, and if you've got the appropriate jig that will set it at an angle for you, you can like cut the cheeks of your pins, but you got to be real careful when you do it. I wouldn't bother with it, frankly. I could go to the bandsaw and I could hog out a fair amount. I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way, as it were, with my saw, with my hand saw. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make initial cuts that are very close to, you know, the cheeks of those pins, and then I'm gonna hog out, just like I'm gonna make consecutive cuts next to one another that will allow me then to just kind of chop off little short pieces of end grain. Make sense? How that would work. But I mean, if I wanted to be a badass, in fact, you know what? I'll be a badass after the fact. First, I'm gonna cut my cheeks. The problem that happens when people do this on a machine is they forget that these guys taper, and they go to hog out their material, and they have the wider side up, and then they just cut off the angle completely. And then, so that's why I'm gonna take my good saw, gonna make myself a little cradle just inside of those lines. I'm not relying on the line itself to be the side that the saw is against, because I want to be able to pair it afterwards. Come on, baby. This is the problem trying to do this with my glasses still on. In theory, I should not be able to see any of that.
I lost my close-up glasses.
I'm sorry?
I lost my close-up glasses.
These ostensibly have them built in.
Well, that's the ones that I lost and had a new pair coming that are really close.
Really, really close? Yeah, like,
Yeah. I told them I needed it this close so that when I'm doing like real close work, I can see it without
Yeah.
taking my glasses off.
so, once again, what I am doing is I am trying to connect the dots with my saw blade from this corner to this corner. That's gonna give me the correct plane. And then I'm just gonna drop that blade down after that to continue it through. So, take your time, and this is not something that you're super comfortable with. Definitely take your time. So, I'm in the right spot on the front. I'm just gonna kind of lean my saw forward now.
How come the saw catches sometimes when you push it?
I'm not really paying attention to my angle.
Okay, because I have that problem a lot, is why I'm asking.
I think it's because when I'm pushing, I still have a habit of pushing down because I don't use my hand saw that often.
Oh.
And you're not supposed to push down. You're supposed to push forward. just the same way as every other thing in here.
Okay.
Down should be
That's
the product of gravity,
because
yeah.
I tend to.
that, and you can actually like lubricate your saw blade with that paraffin wax that's in there, which will also help. But you gotta have both eyes open on this as you're doing it, because you're trying to see essentially both sides of your cut at the same time. That's pretty good. All right. Now, because I'm right-handed and I do a better job the other way, I'm gonna make my marks here. This actually doesn't look too bad. Go, Sarah. It's your birthday. Cut dovetails like it's your birthday. Intrusive thoughts. That's just the name of the game. Alright. I feel like I'm really close right now. Okay. I'm very nearly on my line on the back, so be real careful. When it wants to catch the front, Debbie, usually it's a question of finding the right angle before you begin. So you're pushing and it's the wrong
Okay.
angle to start, and essentially you just have to like tip it until you find it. Alright, you gonna cooperate with me? Maybe? Okay, not bad. You can see that I was just like remembering how to use my saw by the end of that. It was like, oh yeah, that's how it works. So I've got these cuts. They don't really go all the way to the bottom. They do kind of in one spot. And they're definitely less than a 16th. They're closer to a 32nd off of my line to the waist side. Because again, I don't try to make it perfect. You can always remove material. Adding it back sucks. Like, seriously, you would be gluing veneer to the inside of the pen.
No.
No. Yeah, think about it. It's bad news. It's bad news bears. Now, if all I had was hand tools, then I would take some time now and hog out all of that just by taking my saw and dropping it straight down to make little itty bitty fingers, essentially. I am not going to do that because I have a bandsaw and I'm going to make this go faster. But I am going to make sure that I've got my narrowest side facing up when I do that, because I got to get rid of the bit at the narrow side, not at the wide side. All right, BRB.
We're not done, are we?
So it doesn't want to split with a steeper angle. It wants to really follow the grain a bit more. Now, if I had been not emulating what you would do with a handsaw, I would have just like cut all of that crap out completely and been like, ta-da, it's gone. And then just have to, you know, do whatever. But I don't know if you guys are going to be doing this during a power outage or at home. I mean, who knows? The world's a weird place these days. The other guy. Mallet.
This?
Yeah. A good mallet. Oof, that's a bit better. Sorry for sending shit flying everywhere.
And you're doing that from the narrow side or from the wide side?
Currently from the narrow side.
Okay.
Yeah. I will, once I get to a certain depth, I'll flip it over and I'll do the other side, but I'll be very careful about it. So. Don't try to take too big a bite initially. Remember, you have to clear the material out in front of it before you can start moving backwards. So, were I to do this guy, for example, it's already had some of it taken out. See how that works? It goes fairly easily as long as you don't have a ton of material in front of it. That's why this one looks the way that it does, is I haven't bothered to clear everything out. This one looks really pretty easy because I've just been following, essentially. Following that exact same angle. Which is kind of like when we do the fingers on or those little feathers when we're doing the hinges. The reason it works is because it's really consistent, right? And the same action, same force every time. This wants to do what it's doing because I'm being consistent with it. But let's see if we can't hug out a little bit more here. This is also easier if you do it with lines that are closer together. I just was kind of doing whatever on the bandsaw. Frankly, I can get finer cuts with some of these other saws. So, see what happens if I pop a Japanese saw on here. Try to subdivide these guys. It's probably a little insane at this point, but why not? Let's give it a shot. I love a good experiment. Whoop. Trying real hard not to cut all the way down. I'm also standing off to the side too, so my cut's skewed, and that's not ideal. But yeah, when they're narrower like that, they're going to be removed more easily. I am, in fact, going to make a parallel cut. So you can make them fan-shaped, you can do whatever. Just give yourself a little love that way. Okay? I'm gonna take this back over to the bandsaw and I'm gonna hog most of it out, just so that we don't waste our time, right? But you can see if you do finer ones, if you use your handsaw and you do them much closer together and in a kind of a radiating pattern, it's not a bad idea. Like you can get this pretty close and then you can knock it out really, really easily. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go cut this shit.
So she's only
sleeping upstairs.
That's what she was doing. She woke up. I knew you said Bruno was mean.
I can already, yeah, a little shithead.
I thought this kid was.
Luna's a turd sometimes.
I don't know, Luna's
mean.
Luna's nice to me,
Well,
but she's
no,
mean to
she's not mean
Biscuit.
to me at
She's
all.
mean to Biscuit.
She's mean to Biscuit.
She hasn't been that mean to Biscuit yet.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it gets scary. Like, I've had them both in my lap, and Bruno's like, and I'm like, oh, no.
I just know that. I was cutting Bruno and the Biscuit came up and I started cutting Biscuit. Bruno just got mad and left.
Yeah.
I was like, dang. I was like, I got 2 hands, bro.
And they both need to be on both.
No, literally.
Hit the child?
No, literally.
Oh my god.
Poor Biscuit.
Beating the shit out of her.
So she's only doing the dance hall because it's going to take so long, but she'd prefer us to do the chisel way.
Doesn't really matter.
I was thinking that why she wouldn't like this dance hall.
I think she's showing us how to do it if we
Okay.
don't have a dance hall.
Oh, true. Okay.
But
I probably do the chisel way. I'm hoping this is better than fucking in.
I'll probably do it the way she first did and
Yeah.
like bandsaw a
Mhm.
bunch of them and then chisel it out.
Yeah.
Because I like chiseling.
I'm hoping this is just like way better than.
Hog out as much as I could. Being extra careful.
Oh, Kaylee. It's for one of our classes we have.
So I got closer with the shoulder, which was okay to do because, you know, it's end grain, so it's going to be a little harder, as long as I was making sure to stay clear of it, which I did.
Oh, maybe I'm doing something. Sorry, guys.
So I'm going to do this probably not the way that might be intuitive. I'm going to start by actually chopping down into my shoulder, trying to hog out even a little bit more material. I'm doing it now so that when I cut my shoulder off, there will be a clean piece of material left. I don't want to try to do this and be like, it's beautiful, and then do the sides. If I'm going to damage this surface with my tools, let's hope it's something that I'm going to remove. Hey, what an idea. So, see? I'm leaving my hand rested on the top here, mostly so that I don't go like jamming through a bunch of stuff, right? If I just do this, if I slip, I'm gonna keep going. At least if I've got my hand on it. In theory, I'll be able to stop. This one, I might not have a choice. I also want to pay attention to which way the grain is running. Like, am I taking out little bits, or is it wanting to, like, is it wanting to chip out, or is it wanting to run in? Either way, I'm being pretty cautious about it, right? I feel like I'm going in the right direction for this one, which means that this one probably is going to go opposite. Yep, that one wants to travel in pretty good. So it's another reason why having the kind of the cheeks of your pin cut already isn't a bad idea. It gives this a place to break, right? Yeah, definitely wants to run the wrong direction, which is why I started to angle my chisel out as I was cutting, just to help it to exit back out and not tear too much away. I suppose you could consider that splitting hairs, but it's just real fine fibers. So I'm also not too worried about tearing the bottom here because I haven't pared the shoulder back. So as long as this goes far enough down, I should be able to take my fingers, bend it all the way, and just tear it out. You really only want to be careful about that when you're right at that shoulder level, or if it's at the edge, right? Because if it tears past, you're gonna see it. It's just what it is. So I've got these pretty good. And so now all I did there was I took my chisel and put it back in that original saw cut. And I'm not gonna pound anything. I'm just gonna kind of force it down, and it wedges it open, okay? And obviously this is still not the correct plane. That's gonna be this other thing, but this is gonna get me damn close. Very nice. And believe it or not, this really does count. It doesn't count as using your chisel as a lever, as a pry bar, because what's happening is it's splitting open because of this, and only once there's no tension on it at all, then I can push it over. So it's not like I'm endangering the very tail end of it, which is what I would be worried about. So I'm just gonna give her a little chippy chop. Chippity choppity. Again, I can do this because my shoulder hasn't been pared back. It's all good right now. Come on, dude. Sunshine, raindrops and rainbows. All right. So, far from perfect at this point, but a hell of a lot closer, right? Now is the time that I'm going to start actually perfecting this. I am going to start with my shoulders. It's just an easier thing to do. In this case, I'm going to use this end of this board, hopefully. I don't know if it's actually square. You can see it's got, I'm talking about this, kind of whatever is across the end grain, perpendicular to the part that is actually the joint. So, and two, you're just going to see at this point, corresponds pretty decently. I'm not seeing a lot of air around anything or light coming through. So again, we're erring on the side of caution. We're erring on the side of that's what I'm looking for. Come on, Martin. Yeah, removing too much, or sorry, removing too little and not too much. Oh, that didn't work at all. Sarah, come on, girl. What's happening here? Oh well, I'm just gonna have to adjust it. It's fine. It's fine. She says super casually. Gonna hope for the best. So this is one of those situations where if you need to, you can undercut things ever so slightly, as long as your planes this way, right at the edge, look good. So if I do end up just kind of going from both sides, it won't be a big deal. If it's crowned, even if it's crowned a tiny bit, you're gonna know, you're gonna see it, and it's gonna suck. So when I've got something like this that is, you know, more than a 1/16 above in places, I want to start by getting my high spots as close to the rest of everything else as I can. So I'm starting with the parts next to the pins that I couldn't get with the saw. Just want to see where my knife line is. Wow. Okay, cool, cool, cool. And I'm going to use my X-Acto knife kind of the same way that I would a saw to create planes of breakage. So as I go across, it's going to want to break in these spots that I'm kind of pulling down. I mean, a saw would be the thing to use if I still had a lot of material to go through. This works perfectly well for that. That's closer now. It's not perfect, but again, not shooting for perfection at the moment. Let's see what I can do here. So all I'm doing now is I am taking my wide, in theory, sharp chisel. This one does okay for paring, that's for sure. And I'm coming in at an angle. And I'm trying to create as clean a reference edge as possible. So I'm not going straight in like this. I'm holding weight down, like with my thumb, to keep it flat, really important. And I'm just gonna take some very shallow, kind of raking, slicing cuts. And as I'm looking at this, I can see that my end grain is tearing a little bit. I don't want that. So I'm gonna switch it up to this guy. See how he's gonna want to do the job. Neither of them are doing the greatest job. I can feel the material compressing under this chisel instead of kind of slicing away. Yeah, a slicing cut, right? I'm gonna go or and not just push in. I believe I'm gonna pop this on the buffing wheel real fast, or not the buffing wheel, the strop, just to make it a little bit nicer. I'll take mine with me while I do that. If anyone wants to see how that's done.
Yeah. It looks like it's been like melted. And have you ever done this with melted and had that nasty like texture on the outside? That's what it looks like. I just want to go eat my liquor or something. Yeah, I made this shit very young. I'm not bringing some, but this is not the best one. Corey said it was fine, but I ran out of soy sauce and I put the sauce. Normally, I also normally winged it. It was really good. I didn't wing it this time. And it's just like such a watered down sauce. So, it was not.
Think about trying to do it like just above waist level.
Okay,
So
I
if you-
had it too high.
Yeah, if you hold your your arms open like this with your palms up and then just kind of close your hands together, that's about the right height you're working at.
Okay, then I gotta go a little lower.
All right. I mean, mine is lower than that, mostly because this is so short. I've got really short pieces of wood. Yeah, anyway, so we've cleaned this up a little bit. It should be better. Gotta take my eyes off again. Oh yeah, there we go. Already, you can see it just wants to be a little more cooperative. So this side I feel like is still a little high, so I'm gonna start not at my line, but I'm gonna remove the material above it. I feel like this is something that people forget, is like they get close, but end grain is so much harder than face grain. When you're trying to get that like to where you want it to be, if you're spending a lot of time just chopping away at it, well, no, if you're thinking you're gonna go through it by just like putting it in the line and then hacking away at it, you're gonna fuck it up really bad. So try to get it as close as you can with the saw so that you don't spend a million years. But then if you do have a lot of, overburden, for the lack of a better term, spend some time paring it away. Just like what we were doing with those fingers, right? Those fingers were getting shorter and shorter when there was nothing in front of it to keep it from wanting to break free. Same idea. Certainly, the kind of wood you use is going to be part of that. Same with the comparative sharpness of your chisel, all of that good stuff. But if it's more than a 30-second difference, like this one is probably 3/64. I know, that's insane that I would even know that. But it is, it's about 3/64. And so I really need to take it down by a 64th before I can really start to think about removing to the final surface. For many years now, too, people have long considered an ability to finely pare end grain to be the test of whether or not you have a sharp chisel or not. What is it?
A sharp tool.
Yeah. That's okay. I was like, what's he saying? I don't have my glasses on. I can't hear without my glasses. It's terrible. I mean, I can't hear with it, but I can't see your mouth
Now
moving.
I forget my hearing aids.
Oh, sorry, dude. So I'm still well above, and I'm taking nice, fine little shavings.
Is the grain determining the direction of your chisel, or is that just the shape?
It's just the shape. It's the fact that, I've got this on the wide side right now, so I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to come back through, and I'm going to go that way. There really isn't grain direction here. It's end grain, so it's just a question of, where do I have enough room? I'm right-handed, so this is a lot more comfortable. I would imagine that almost anything that I do for this is going to get mirrored by a left-handed person. So,
It seems.
And you're purposefully not coming all the way through the back
I
while you're
am
doing
very
it.
purposefully not going all the way through to the back.
Is that because it would tear out?
Yeah. It might tear out. I don't know if it will or not, but mere possibility that it could, yeah. So I'm going to go more than halfway here, and then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the other side. feel like, yeah, being that aggressive doesn't help. Let's see. If I show you guys the difference between these two sides, you're gonna see really quickly how one side is nice and solid and the other one has holes in it. And it's just from where those fibers have essentially been pulled apart from one another, leaving gaps. So take a look at it if you want, otherwise I'm just gonna keep cutting. Good side, bad side. So patience pays off. It's not like it's super visible, but it's benevolent, you know? See what I mean? Or this one, there's no holes. There's a bunch of holes there.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's mine.
yeah. Well, that's all of ours. That's haste. This is time, you know. If you just don't have time, then you know. If you don't have time, then at the very least make sure that you've got a really good edge on everything. That's really where it matters the most. The edge is the visible part. And I am being greedy, and this is leaving me with holes on the other side here now too. Because I'm just trying to get her done. I don't want this to take yet another class period. So, sharp tools, everybody. Sharp tools, name of the game. Sharp tools. If you guys want to do a clinic on sharpening chisels at some point outside of class, I will be happy to do that.
Would that also apply to sharpening knives?
Kind of. It's not the same, but kind of.
Friday be the best.
It depends on the Friday, you know. I feel like we've got. When's MDR?
I don't know if anyone's in here is in
Yeah. If we don't have anything going on this Friday, I'll do it. Okay.
Sure how to sharpen. I want to record it. You showed me once and I forgot since then.
Yep.
Get down online, I got sure.
I'll be happy to. I sat down at Culver's yesterday night and started working on my endless list and was just like, oh.
Because it's endless.
Because it's endless. But I mean, like some of the stuff I can give my student worker, but most of it I can't. Most of it is all things I have to do myself. And I was just like, why?
That's all. I can help. Continue to work with all.
I appreciate that. What?
So when did ACS get rescheduled to?
April 4th. No, not 4th. April
ACS, what is
all
that?
campus sing.
Oh,
It's not.
It,
Here, I got
Sorry.
the email.
it wasn't the 4th. It
I
was the
love
4th. It was
what-
this past Friday.
every time I walk by the dudes practicing, I'm like, all campus swing. Look at that. I don't know. It's the dumbest joke, and it makes me laugh at myself every time.
It's rescheduled for April 30th now.
Yeah,
Because
the
it was supposed to be this past weekend.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
I got it right now.
I didn't
And
even
then
know
they
that.
tried moving it inside to be at Lovett.
You got flooded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
then
did.
I know
Usually they would do it.
on Saturday.
I'm sorry, what?
So the administration made the decision to move it to Saturday.
Because normally it's a weekday.
I'm actually kind of okay with that.
I am too, but that's that.
Yeah. I wish that it was on a weekend anyway, or a Friday at least. Like,
Yeah, Sunday where I'm like not
I haven't been to one.
teaching and it's super meaningful. I don't know, right? It's for your academics or something.
yeah, no kidding. Like, yeah, don't get me started. Nothing like people being like, I'm sorry, I can't be in your class today. I have to sing. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were here for your education. I had no
You're out
idea.
at 8 a.m. or 5 o'clock. It's past our time.
Yep. As a professor of those people, I'm with you 100%. All right, I've gone about I don't know, half-ish way through. I'm a little bit afraid to switch this over, only because I have it so nicely lined up right here right now. But, you know, whatever, I gotta do what I gotta do. Before I do anything though, I'm gonna, oh, I can't. That's terrible. Okay, that is definitely the reason why I need to finish up with my shooting board. I can't fit anything at all because the other side of this is that.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Genius. Genius, Sarah Martin. Oh my God. Making sure that these lines actually connect though is gonna be a big deal. If you're, like, if you end up with a shoulder that looks like this because you came in from different sides and ignored maybe your score line or whatever, maybe you didn't ignore it, maybe it just slipped, that can be a problem. So do your best.
If you go down, you're not eating one side as well as your score line is.
Uh-huh.
Can you just make a loose score line with your combo square all the way around and lengthen your
Pins?
pegs, your pins?
In
and-
theory, sure.
Okay.
In theory, sure. In practice, I don't know how I would actually feel about that personally.
Okay.
Just because, like, I think that would be really difficult to do. That's all. To actually then, like, whatever. If anything, yeah, if anything,
Like,
You're so
no, I like
young.
pulled my glasses down really hard somehow. Like, just pulled my nose.
so I'm able to be a little cavalier with this too because I have this little bit of extra material on the sides of my pins. So if I end up using some leverage here, it's not the end of the world. I'm damaging the extra material that's going to be taken away. That is why I'm doing it in this order. Otherwise, you know, it's not, I don't know that it matters functionally. It's just kind of whatever is going to be the safer byproduct of your process. And I'm getting hasty because I'm feeling the pressure. So I might fuck up. I'm just giving you fair warning. I might just screw the whole thing up. So what I really need to do is take more material down. If you're really good with a coping saw, very often people will drill 2 little holes there and there and cope the bottom out. And you can get fairly close, you know? The coping saw does not have a lot of mass, the blade itself at least. So the time that I'm taking paring this back could be the time that I was taking, you know, coping it closer in the first place. So one of the things that I'm noticing is that I'm really giving my hand a beating right here. If you're finding that your hands are uncomfortable as you're doing this, Band-Aids. Just pre-wrap them and it will be fine. It's like wearing gardening gloves, but I don't want you to wear gloves because you're not going to be able to feel anything. You know, you're trying to be using your fingertips to make sure things are actually in plane, you know, all that good stuff. If you've got gloves on, it's not going to allow you to do that. But you can see,
You're actually tearing your skin.
I'm actually tearing my skin at this point. Yeah, it's fine.
Like a nice big white Band-Aid to put on it?
Honestly, no, not right now. I'm kind of enjoying.
Small sacrifice for good kid.
Exactly.
But even that would protect your skin enough
Yes, it
One
would.
of those large ones that you
Yeah.
could put on and cover a wide area.
I'm not worried about myself, though. I'm only worried about you guys.
Also, like, gonna come back and like, I want to have some, 2 to 3 weeks.
Come on, baby. I will occasionally lift like this in order to get a bite and then drop it again, okay? So don't think that I'm trying to do this. I'm just having a hard time engaging in whatever the material is. And so I will lift up just a little bit to get it to actually bite, but then I will drop it again so that it's not scooping out anything. I'm getting there. And I can see that actually my 2 planes coming in from each direction are doing this. And so once I get them far enough, I'm going to take a smaller chisel and I'm going to kind of dig out the middle. So if anything, it does this ever so slightly. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's there. It's especially here on this one. This one, they're really off from one another, but they're a lot closer here. But they're still doing that. Remember, use your combo square to verify. It's easy to do. When in doubt, measure it out. So I'm going to switch to my smaller one and just kind of pare away at some extra material here. You know, working to not touch that front edge at all on either side. You know, for not being maple, this sure is acting like maple.
Well, I'm really glad I used poplar for my sample.
The only thing about poplar that's a bad thing is that it wants to tear. It
Oh, yeah.
really, really, really wants to form those holes. So, like,
Just being aware.
just be aware that that's its move.
Me and my older boards are starting to become more and more frightened
Yeah.
after watching Sarah and her.
Well, I mean, you know, yours will be thinner. Like, that's part of the problem is that these stupid things are too fucking thick. And so they're taking forever.
Yeah.
Because yeah. If I had made boards the thickness that I had told you guys, then, you know. But instead, I just repurposed the ones from last time. So,
Mine needs to be that much,
all right, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. So, in order to be able to get in here, I've got my chisel flipped over. And I'm trying real hard to keep the sides off of the pins. So, there we go. I have my fingers actually like positioned so that they won't hit the side of the pin. Again, I'm avoiding those front edges so that I don't fuck anything up too dramatically. Ooh, that scares you. But I didn't go too far, thankfully. Just trying to get this last little corner off here. If you're someone who's done mortises and tenons before, the big like overlap here is that the transition from one plane to the next needs to be like perfect. You can't have a bunch of shit in the corner. It can't, you know, curve and you expect everything to fit. It's got to actually have an angle, and that angle has to have no debris in it. Well, you know what? I'm gonna call. I'll call that vaguely acceptable at the moment. I do have more material than I want in my corners, but I can start actually fitting things now and have it not be quite so terrible. So, before I try fitting, take a look. That's what I'm working with there. It would have also been really useful for me to have marked an inside versus an outside. Surprise, surprise. So that you always have things like going together the same way. Obviously it has to go in the same orientation, but this one usually can flip. Unless you've already cut your dado in for a drawer bottom kind of a thing, it won't be super easy to tell. Similarly to the mortise and tenon, you want something that's going to go together and you don't have to force it really too much. If you have to really smack on it with a mallet, it's not cut correctly. Likewise, you don't want it to come apart just by shaking it, you know? You want it to actually kind of fit together and then, you know, take a little bit of effort to have it pull apart again. You're okay. Hello. Alright. So, it would help if I had it going the right way. Haha. Let's see. Yep, definitely still too wide. That's okay, because that is easily dealt with. So now I'm going to start to pair these surfaces, okay? It can be a little scary. I'm going to start with my middle pin just because. And I'm going to start to take this back to those knife lines. I can see where it is on the front here. I'm just going to lift it a little tiny bit. It's harder to see on the end grain, and it's harder to feel on the end grain, frankly. But if I can find it on the side. There it is. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on it so that it'll lift a tiny bit. So usually from there, I should be able to start paring off the excess. So I'm starting down in that corner where I still had end grain offcut. Remember, take too little before you take too much. Aligned with it being not parallel to the floor. So this is one that you really can't undercut. You really just need to have this be flat. So remember to use the side of your chisel, sorry, not the side, the back of your chisel to really help you maintain a plane all the way across. Okay, and I can see, just barely, that I changed the angle there. Do you guys see how far up I'm holding this chisel? Like, I'm not doing this. You can do a lot of a lot of damage by having too much exposed blade. Okay. Not quite. I gotta flatten all that out. But it's not a bad start. So because I really couldn't see the mark on the end, that's why I'm bringing it up like this. I wouldn't normally pair anything this way. It's easier to pair parallel to the floor. Get my little excess out of the way there. Come on, Nibbles, get out of there. That was awkward. I love working left-handed accidentally. I can tell already it's going to want to tear out right there. So I'm going the wrong way. You right there?
Yeah, I was gonna like that. So just remove it.
Alright, so I still have to be checking squareness, but in this case what I'm checking is squareness from top to bottom. So, like, does this line open up at any point, or is it pretty damn square? It's pretty damn square. Yay! I love experience. So now I'm just trying to clean out that inner corner of anything that might prevent this from wanting to close. I'm gonna take this guy. I should really decide. Okay, tails will be out like this. Tails will be out like this. Okay, that looks all right. So let's start. Everything still looks good, so I'm just gonna kind of go for it here and try to get this done by the end of class. Can she do it? Yeah, we'll see. Do my best.